Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is WireDogSec, back with another video for you guys. Today's video, we are in TryHackMe. This is the Advent of Cyber 2024 event, and we are on task number 17, Wi-Fi attacks, day 11. If you'd like to WPA, press the star key. Hopefully you're all having an awesome day today and ready to learn something. Let's go ahead and dive into it. The story. The much-awaited Sockmas of Wareville Town is just days away. Glitch, the unsung hero, is closing all the doors to Mayor Mauer's malicious intentions, one by one. However, there is still much more to do. McSkitty took a thoughtful breath. Mayor can still find his way in. Glitch smiles confidently. I think I know the last technique he relies on to get into the networks. McSkitty stands up from her chair with a surge of excitement. Let me guess, it's a notorious way to get into a network. A Wi-Fi attack. Glitch nods decisively. Exactly. Let's be one step ahead of the mayor. Learning objectives. Understand what Wi-Fi is. Explore its importance for an organization. Learn the different Wi-Fi attacks. Learn about the WPA, WPA2, cracking attack. Connecting to the machine. And this is what you'll need for this machine here. You need the attack box, you need the VM, and then there are creds available as well to directly connect to the VM. All right, but we're going to use the attack box. As you can see here, I've already started up the attack box. The machine's fired up here. Said it take about 3 minutes to boot up fully. Okay, here are the credentials. So you can access the VM from the attack box SSH via this here. So let's go ahead and do that. Copy and paste, like so. All right, and I'm going to enter. Oops, let's do this again. Yes, and then the password is password 321. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and clear all this stuff out of here. What is Wi-Fi? The importance of the internet in our lives is universally acknowledged without the need of any justification. Wi-Fi is technology that connects our devices to the global network, the internet. This seamless connection to the internet appears to be wireless from our devices, which is true to some extent. Our devices are connected wirelessly to the router, which acts as a bridge between us and the internet, and the router is connected to the internet via a wired connection. To connect to Wi-Fi, we turn it on from our devices, and it lists all the available Wi-Fi networks around us. This list comprises the access points, often routers, that are broadcasting Wi-Fi signals with a unique SSID, which is the network name. You can connect to any of these if you know the correct password, also known as the pre-shared key, PSK. Once you successfully connect to a network via Wi-Fi, you will be assigned an IP address inside that network, which will uniquely identify you and help you communicate with other devices. It is just like becoming a member of a family assigned with a name that the whole family trusts. The image below shows an example of what connecting to OK443S SSID requesting a PSK password looks like on a typical Windows machine, and this is what it looks like here. I'm sure y'all have seen this before. With all the discussion on Wi-Fi, seems like a door to our internet access, and every Wi-Fi connection forms a family of devices. Would you allow someone you don't really know to become part of your family? Not that easy. Probably because of the privileges a family member has. Nobody from outside should ever get those. Wi-Fi's pivotal role in organizations. Most organizations rely on the internet for their business functioning. Using a wired connection for all employees to connect to the internet raises concerns about cost, efficiency, and flexibility at work. So organizations use Wi-Fi for their networks to connect their employees to the internet. As the employees connect to the organization's network, they form a family of interconnected devices. The devices inside the network can communicate with each other and request or respond to any request. Organizations tend to recruit trustworthy and professional employees to avoid any misuse of the privileges inside the network. However, a malicious actor from outside the organization could still see the broadcast Wi-Fi SSID of the organization's network when they turn their Wi-Fi on. This may not seem to be a problem as the attacker does not know the password, but the attacker actually has some other plans as well. Oh boy. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Be sure to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Once you subscribe, be sure to hit that notification bell. All right, so you know every time I post a new video. As you can see here, most people that view my videos, view my channel, are not subscribed. Now, if you do subscribe, it will help me get into the YouTube algorithm so that we can continue to grow our glorious community here. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch. Have a nice day and enjoy the video. Attacks on Wi-Fi. There are several techniques attackers use to exploit Wi-Fi technology. The techniques discussed here are solely for educational purposes. Unauthorized attempts to access or compromise networks are illegal and may lead to severe legal consequences. With that in mind, here are some of the most popular techniques. Evil twin attack. In this attack, the attacker creates a fake access point that has a similar name to one of your trusted Wi-Fi access points. Of course, it cannot be the exact same. If the trusted Wi-Fi's name is home underscore internet, the attacker creates a fake Wi-Fi access point named home underscore internet with two N's in there, or something similar that is difficult to differentiate. The attack starts with the attacker sending deauthentication packets to all the users connected to their legitimate Wi-Fi access point. The users would face repeated disconnections from the network after this. With frustration, the users are likely to open the Wi-Fi access points list for troubleshooting and will find the attacker's Wi-Fi an almost similar name with greater signal strength. They would go to connect to it, and once connected, the attacker would or could see all the traffic to and from the internet. Rogue access point. This attack's objective is similar to that of the Evil Twin attack. In this attack, the attacker sets up an open Wi-Fi access point near or inside the organization's physical premises to make it available to users with good signal strength. The users inside the organization may accidentally join the network if their devices are set to connect automatically to open Wi-Fi. The attacker can intercept all their communication after the users connect to this rogue access point. WPS attack. Wi-Fi protected setup, also known as WPS, was created to allow users to connect to their Wi-Fi using an 8-digit PIN without remembering complex passwords. However, this 8-digit PIN is vulnerable in some networks due to its insecure configuration. The attack is made by initiating a WPS handshake with the router and capturing the router's response, which contains some data related to the PIN and is vulnerable to brute force attacks. I think I've done this before. Some of the captured data is brute force, and the PIN is successfully extracted along with the pre-shared key, which is the PSK, WPA/WPA2 cracking. Wi-Fi access, protected access. Um, WPA was created to secure wireless communication. It uses a strong encryption algorithm. However, the security of this algorithm is heavily influenced by the length and complexity of the pre-shared key, PSK. While cracking WPA, attackers start by sending deauthentication packets to a legitimate user of the Wi-Fi network. Once the user disconnects, they try to reconnect to the network, and a four-way handshake with the router takes place during this time. Meanwhile, the attacker turns its adapter into monitor mode and captures the handshake. After the handshake is captured, the attacker can crack the password by using brute force or dictionary attacks on the captured handshake file. McSkitty looks to Glitch and asks, what kind of attack are you thinking of demonstrating Glitch? Glitch paces back and forth before coming to a sudden stop and says, today I will be showing you how how the WPA WPA2 cracking attack works. So WPA WPA2 cracking. As mentioned above, WPA WPA2 cracking begins by listening to Wi-Fi traffic to capture the four-way handshake between a device and the access point. Since waiting for a device to connect or reconnect can take some time, deauthentication packets are sent to disconnect a client, forcing it to reconnect and initiate a new handshake, which is captured. After the handshake is captured, the attacker can crack the password, which is the PSK, right, pre-shared key, by using brute force or dictionary attacks on the captured handshake file. All right, and here is a graphic of what they're talking about here, okay? Listening to monitor mode. This is the access point. This is the device already connected to the access point, okay? There we go. And let's see the four-way handshake. The WPA password cracking process involves capturing a Wi-Fi network's handshake to attempt a PSK password decryption. First, an attacker places their wireless adapter into monitor mode to scan for networks, then targets a specific network to capture the four-way handshake. Once the handshake is captured, the attacker runs a brute force or dictionary attack using a tool like AirCrack NG to attempt to match a word list against the passphrase. The WPA four-way handshake is a process that helps a client device like your phone or laptop and a Wi-Fi router confirm they both have the right password or pre-shared key (PSK) before securely connecting. Here's a simplified rundown of what happens. Okay, router sends a challenge. The router or access point sends a challenge to the client asking it to prove it knows the network's password without directly sharing it. Client responds with the encrypted information. The client takes this information or this challenge and uses the PSK to create an encrypted response that only the router can verify if it also has the correct PSK. Router verifies and sends confirmation. If the router sees the client's response matches what it expects, it knows the client has the right PSK. The router then sends its own confirmation back to the client. Final check and connection established. The client verifies the router's response, and if everything matches, they finish setting up the secure connection. This handshake doesn't directly reveal the PSK itself, but involves encrypted exchanges that depend on the PSK. The vulnerability says the vulnerability lies in the fact that an attacker can capture this four-way handshake if they're listening when a device connects. With the handshake data, they can use it as a basis to attempt offline brute force or dictionary attacks. Essentially, they try different possible passwords and test each one to see if it would produce the captured handshake data, eventually cracking the PSK if they get a match. We're getting to some practical stuff here. The practical on our current SSH connection, run the command iwdev. So let's go ahead and do that here. iwdev. Okay, there we go. There's the wireless interface, which is the WLAN 2. Okay, so WLAN is wireless LAN. And let's see here. The device slash interface WLAN 2 is available to us, and there are two important details to take away from this output that will be useful to us. Number one, the address is the MAC slash BSSID of our device. The BSSID stands for Basic Service Set Identifier, and it's a unique identifier for a wireless device or access point's physical address. Number two is type. It says the type is shown as managed. This is the standard mode used by most Wi-Fi devices like laptops, phones, etc. to connect to Wi-Fi networks. In managed mode, the device acts as a client connecting to an access point to join a network. There is another mode called monitor, which we will discuss shortly. Okay. Now we would like to scan for nearby Wi-Fi networks using our WLAN 2 device. We can do this with sudo iwdev WLAN2 scan. The dev WLAN2 specifies the wireless device you want to work with, and scan tells iw to scan the area for available networks. So let's go ahead and do that here. Okay. And we should get something that looks like this here. And let's see how long this takes to come back. All right, and looks like we have similar outputs here, similar results. SSID malware m dash or underscore AP. Okay, there's a lot of information to dissect here, but here are the most important details that indicate this device is an access point. The BSSID or SSID of the device are the following here, and then malware m underscore AP respectively, which we can see here. Since the SSID is shown, this means the device is advertising a network name, which access points do to allow clients to discover and connect to the network. The presence of a RSN, which is robust security network, indicates the network is using WPA2, as RSN is part of the WPA2 standard. WPA2 networks typically use RSN to define the encryption and authentication settings. The group and pairwise ciphers are CCMP, counter mode for cipher block chaining. Message Authentication Code Protocol. What a mouthful. CCMP is the encryption method used by WPA2. The authentication suite value inside RSN is PSK, indicating that this is a WPA2 personal network where a shared password is used for authentication. Another important detail is the DS parameter set value, which shows channel 6. The channel in terms of the Wi-Fi refers to a specific frequency within the broader Wi-Fi spectrum that allows wireless devices to communicate with each other. There are various Wi-Fi channels, and they all help distribute network traffic across various frequency ranges, which reduces interference. The most common Wi-Fi channels are 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz. In a 2.4 GHz band, channels 1, 6, and 11 are commonly used because they don't overlap, minimizing interference. In the 5 GHz band, there are many channels or many more channels available, allowing more networks to coexist without interference. All right. And it says now we will be a good now will be a good time to discuss another type that we can use on some wireless devices monitor mode. This is a special mode primarily used for network analysis and security auditing. In this mode, the Wi-Fi interface listens to all wireless traffic on a specific channel, regardless of whether it is directed to the device or not. It passively captures all network traffic within the range for analysis without joining a network. We want to check if our WLAN2 interface can use monitor mode. To achieve this, we will run the command sudo IP link set dev WLAN down. So I'm just going to copy this for later. To turn off our device. And then we will switch modes with sudo iwdev wlan2 set type monitor to change wlan2 to monitor mode, and then turn it back on using the same thing as here, except you're going to change it to up instead of down. All right, so let's clear this out. Copy and paste. Okay, that's done. And then same thing here, except you're going to change it to, you're going to have type and monitor in there. So let's get rid of this. Okay, there we go. And then change this to up instead of down. Should be good to go. Okay, so we can confirm that our interface is in monitor mode with the following command here. So sudo iwdev wlan info. So let's go ahead and copy and paste this over. And we can see that here. We can see that here where it says type, it says monitor. All right. Now let us create one more SSH session. We want to have two separate terminals in order to see clearly how the attack works. You can align the SSH terminals however you like, but here is an example of how it should look like. So you just have them like side by side. Okay. We already have another tab open, so I guess we can flip back and forth as needed. On the first terminal, we start by capturing Wi-Fi traffic in the area, specifically targeting WPA's handshake packets. We can do this with the following command. Okay, so yeah, we need to log in as glitch again. So I'm logged in, 2 sessions here. Okay. All right, it says on the first terminal, we start by capturing Wi-Fi traffic in the area, specifically targeting WPA handshake packets. We can do this with the following command: sudo air dump ng WLAN2. So let's clear all this stuff out. Paste this over. There we go. So this command provides a list of nearby Wi-Fi networks, SSIDs, and shows important details like signal strength, channel, and encryption type. This information is already known to us from our previous commands. By default, arrow dump -ng will automatically switch the selected wireless interface into monitor mode if the interface supports it. Well, that's awesome. So it looks like we're good. The output reveals the information we already knew before, such as the BSID, the SSID, and the channel. However, in this particular output, we are also given the channel where our target SSID is listening channel 6. Now we will focus on malware elm_ap access point and capture the WPA handshake. This is crucial for the PSK password cracking process. First, in the current terminal, let us cancel arrow dump ng by Control C. So let's do that, Control C, and then execute the command sudo arrow dump and then the bset information here -w output wlan 2. All right, so we'll clear all this junk out of here. Paste. There we go. This command targets the specific network channel and MAC address BSSID of the access point for which you want to capture the traffic, and saves the information to a few lines that start with the name output dash file. These files will be used to crack the PSK. The ultimate goal of this command is to capture the four-way handshake. It will first check for any clients that may be connected to the access point. If a client is already connected, then we can perform a deauthentication attack. Otherwise, for any new client that connects, we will capture the four-way handshake. In this particular scenario, a client is already connected. The output will look similar or look the same at first until we receive the information about the connected client, which will be displayed at the bottom of our output. It is important to leave this command running until we are done with the attack. Okay. All right. So we already have this running, as you can see there. It would take time, or take between 1 to 5 minutes before receiving the client information. In our case, it will show like this. Okay. All right. So looks like we are still waiting. Note the station section shows the device BSID MAC of this here that is connected to the access point. This is the connection that we will be attacking. Now we are ready for the next step. On the second terminal, we will launch the deauthentication attack. Because the client is already connected, we want to force them to reconnect to the access point, forcing it to send the handshake packets. We can break this down into 3 simple steps. Okay, I guess it's already connected. I mean, if you look at station here, it's the same as this here, right? But we don't see this PSK here. Interesting. But anyway, let's continue on and see if this actually goes through. So one, the authentication packets. The tool AirPlay NG sends the authentication packets to either a specific client, target attack, or to all clients connected to an access point, broadcast attack. These packets are essentially disconnect commands that force the client to drop its current Wi-Fi connection to forcing a reconnection. When the client is disconnected, it automatically tries to reconnect to the Wi-Fi network. During this reconnection, the client and access point perform the four-way handshake as part of the re-authentication process. 3. Capturing the handshake. This is where arrow dump -ng comes into play because it will capture this handshake as it happens, providing the data needed to attempt the WPA2 cracking. We can do this with the following sudo airplay ng -0 1-a, and you can see the B sits there. It says the -0 flag indicates that we are using the deauthentication attack. The 1 value is the number of deauths to send, and the -a indicates the BSSID of the access point, and the -c indicates the BSSID of the client to deauthenticate. Okay, so I guess we do this in the other one here. Okay, let's do that here. Sending directed deauth. Okay, and it says now if we take a look at our first terminal, we will see the WPA handshake shown on the top right of our output as WPA handshake 020000, whatever. Okay, yeah. All this information is being saved into our output files, so it looks like we're good so far. In the second terminal, we can use the capture WPA handshake to attempt to crack the WPA2 passphrase. We will be performing a dictionary attack in order to match the passphrase against each entry in a specified word list file. A certain version of the infamous Rocky.txt word list has already been provided for us to use. This is located at home glitch directory. If the passphrase is weak and appears in the word list, it will eventually be cracked. The command sudo aircrack ng-a2-b, the bsid -w, and then location of the word list you want to use, and then output cap name of the file. We'll do this for us where the -a2 flag indicates the WPA2 attack mode, the -b indicates the BSSID of the access point, and the -w flag indicates the directory list to use for the attack. Finally, we select the output files that we will be using, which contain the four-way handshake that we will be cracking. All right, so let's go ahead and do that here. Paste. Okay, there it goes. It says key found, fluffy /champ24. Okay, and yeah, so it looks good. Note, if you get the packets contain no EPOL data, unable to process this AP error, this means that you ran aircrack NG prior to the handshake being captured, or that handshake was not captured at all. In this case, then redo all the steps in order to capture the WPA handshake. Okay, well, we didn't get that error. It looks like ours was good. With the PSK, we can now join the malware m_AP access point. In a typical engagement, we would do this to inspect the new network, or in some cases, joining the access point is enough to show impact. First, press Ctrl+C on the terminal that has arrow dump ng running in order to stop the arrow dump ng process. It says we do this because we will not be able to join the Wi-Fi network while arrow dump ng is running due to the fact that we are actively using the interface in monitor mode. Then execute the following commands. So let's go ahead and do that here. Enter PSK here, config. So let's go ahead and copy and paste. And then let's grab that key. This is here. Okay, copy that. And then I'm going to change the placeholder here. Okay, let's do this. Okay. It says, oh, I forgot the second step here almost. So let's go and do that. Okay. It says if you get the RF kill cannot get Wi-Fi information error, you can ignore it. You will also notice that WPA supplicant has automatically switched our WLAN 2 interface to managed mode. Giving it about 10 seconds and checking the wireless interfaces once again with IWDev shows that we have joined the malware M underscore AP SSID. Okay, so we'll give it a few seconds here. All right, let's see if it shows up now. Okay, and let's see. Yep, there it is. Awesome. It says the end. McSkitty looked in awe as Glitch flawlessly exposed a weakness in the Wi-Fi network. Glitch ponders and says, that patch was pretty weak, I must say. I wouldn't have been surprised if the mayor had already found a way. McSkitty gets to work right away while Glitch thinks about what is next. Glitch stops and says, I am ever curious if the mayor knows much about race conditions um, and how that will affect us. All right, so that was pretty neat. Now, go ahead and try to answer these questions yourself. Come back to the video and we will go through them. Okay, what is the BSSID of our wireless interface? Well, we know we're working with interface WLAN2 here, and you can use this IW dev command, as we saw earlier, to find this information in here. And we're looking at the address right here, and it should be this answer here. This is what we're looking for. Next one says, what is the SSID and BSSID of the access point? Format SSID, then BSSID. So we already know the SSID is going to be malware M AP or underscore AP. Okay, and you can also do this sudo iwdev wlan2 scan to find this information out. And you can see here where it says associated. All right, so this is what we're looking for. This one up here. All right, and let's see. The next one says what is the BSSID of the wireless interface that is already connected to the wireless point? So we can do this with arrow dump ng WLAN2. If you give it a second, it'll connect. You can see here under station, it should be this one here. Okay, and of course, what is the PSK after performing the WPA cracking attack? Well, we saw that over here in this one. It we see where it says key found, fluffy / champ 24 should be the answer for that one. So that wraps up this particular video. If you liked this video, found it of value, be sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel with the notification bell. Comments on the information in the video. As always, thank you all for taking time to watch my video. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next one.